July 1st, as I've been told. And we are at the Bourbon County Fair, which usually is finished by July, but we're still going on. So please, we're joining you from the Bourbon County Fair to show you what's out here. And please consider coming out and joining us tonight or Saturday, which will be the last day of the fair, July 2nd. And we are going to share Bourbon Bite-Sized Learning today.
Yeah, we have a garden fresh tomato pizza to share with you all today.
Yummy. And also, July, we think of 4th of July. So this is not your typical hot dogs and hamburgers.
It's not.
But it's very nutritious. It can be served if you're a vegetarian. There's no meat involved.
Yeah.
Very healthy.
Yeah, very light and fresh and good way to use it. If you have some tomatoes at home that you need to use up, this is a great way to use them up. Because they don't have to be perfect and pretty because you're going to slice them in half, which we have already done here. So Kay is just going to go on and get our first step in the pizza process here, which is to take your half slices and lay them out on a paper towel. We've just got it in a baking dish here, or baking sheet, but paper, plate, whatever. So this is just going to remove some of the excess juice from the tomatoes so that your pizza is not soggy.
It prevents that crust from being so.
Yeah.
And you can see just from where we've sliced them, I'll show you in just a minute, the amount of juice that's gathered in the bottom of the bowl shows how much juice is in the tomatoes, but that's what makes them good.
That's what makes them nice and good. But for this, we don't want them to be quite as juicy, okay? If you don't have tomatoes grown at home, this is a great opportunity to visit your farmer's market, your local farmer that has tomatoes that are ready to go. It's kind of getting to tomato season here in Kentucky. So now Kate is sprinkling salt on top of the tomatoes, and the salt just helps to take off even more of that liquid that is in them. Okay, that done, and then we cover them with another paper towel so that juice can be absorbed, and then they're ready to go. All right. So that is step one in our tomato pizza process.
So while those tomatoes are drying out a little, we might just put that over here. While those tomatoes are drying out, you can make your crust. Okay, you can just use a packaged crust, and we've already got the crust prepared for you here today because this gives time for the tomatoes to dry out and for you to gather the rest of your ingredients. Now we do have a few more ingredients in this than a lot of our recipes, so I'm going to read for you. We are going to mix what would be your sauce on your typical pizza. We're going to mix it in this bowl here. Let me move a few things so you can see. We're going to mix 2/3 cup of mozzarella, and when you work off site, as I typically do, we forget things. So I am working very awkwardly with a spoon instead of my typical spatula.
Yeah.
But you know what? It works.
Make it in.
That's 1/3. Oh, that looks good.
If you don't have ricotta, if that's not something you could use cottage cheese instead of the ricotta. The recipe states to use either, so whichever is fine. We just went with the ricotta today. So
they both have that calcium. Mm-hmm. It's good for our bones.
Yes.
Meets our dairy requirement. And with that, we're going to use a cup of mozzarella. And I'm not going to measure. It was a 2-cup package. We've used half of it, right?
Right. Yeah. So,
and you can't have too much cheese.
Easy, quick measurement. So yeah, that's. This recipe is nice. It does hit 3 of the 5 main food groups. So we have, of course, our dairy here with the cheeses.
Now we're going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder. Can't have pizza without garlic.
That's right.
And mix those together.
Yeah. Now, if you were using dried basil in this recipe, you would go on and add the dried basil in right now. We're using fresh basil. So again, if you've got fresh basil at home, this is a great recipe to use that in. So we are choosing to use fresh basil from Miss Kay's house today.
Yes. So we'll be using that later. would use dry when you got fresh
When you have
available.
fresh
I don't
basil.
always have fresh available, but when I do,
It's amazing. There's nothing like it.
okay. So
So,
we've got that ready.
Easy, simple.
We need to coat our crust.
Yep, with some olive oil on it. Just gonna pour it out in a cup. That way it's easier to spread.
And just lightly. There's not a set amount, just with a
Just helps the crust to get a little crispier in the oven. Just to help get a nice, good bake to it. Nice and
okay.
crispy crust.
There's a little bit more in there. It's like painting.
Yes. So if you have kids at home, this would be a fun step for them to do.
Absolutely.
To brush that olive oil on.
Okay, and back when we washed and cut our tomatoes, we also washed and cut our onions. We washed them under cool water. So we have those ready and I'm just gonna lay them out there.
Some really great fresh ingredients with the fresh tomatoes and fresh onion and fresh basil on this.
So we're ready to put what would be our sauce, but today is ricotta cheese. Oh, I can smell that basil. It smells so good over there.
Work with what you have, right? So it's going on our pizza crust, which is a grain. So that's right, our other food group that we hit in this meal.
This is really a pretty dish when it's done
It
too.
is.
The colors and I just want to get that crust. This works better with a rubber spatula, by the way. That's what I'm talking about that I forgot. It just kind of spreads it a little more evenly. I think I about got it.
I think you're good.
There we go. Oh, here's a little more. Let's not waste not, want not. Okay, that was my grandmother. Waste not, want not. Okay. Now,
Start layering your ingredients on here.
get our tomatoes. Set them right here. And our onion rings. It calls for a half of a red onion. This you can go by if you really like onions, you can go heavier with the onions. If your family's not much of an onion eater, you can go lightly or try something different, experiment. But the red onion helps to add color.
And red onions add so much flavor to a dish. They really are very flavorful and very fragrant as well.
We learned that while I was slicing them, okay? But
very fragrant.
I'm gonna stay with that. It's not quite a whole half, but and then we layer the tomatoes on top of that. Now, we are not the TV celebrities. I'm not getting fancy with the arrangement. I'm just throwing these tomatoes on there, okay? Because they're going to wilt down in the oven. And then after this is put in the oven, it's a 475 degree, right?
Yes.
Oven.
For 12 to 15 minutes. I think we ended up cooking ours for a little bit longer just because we wanted the crust to be a little bit crispier. So this is a little thicker crust than you might have. So the 12 to 15 minutes should be okay if it's a thinner crust.
I believe we got a little more tomatoes on this one
I think
too.
we do.
That's good. I love fresh tomatoes. Right from farmer's market. Make sure you remember to hit your farmer's market. Get all that local produce right now that we have available.
And if you've got kids, you want to hit the farmer's market on July 9th for the Pop Club.
Yes, we're at Pop Club. I'll go ahead and do our little advertisement now. We're going to be all the children come in and we're going to make salsa. Each child will make their own salsa. And we'll be taste testing a fruit or vegetable from the farmer's market. So what happens is they earn pop bucks. And if they taste test a fruit or vegetable, they get $2 in pop bucks. And if they make the salsa, they get an additional $2. So they can make $4 in pop bucks on Pop Buck Day, which is Pop Club, which stands for the Power of Produce. And they can take that to the vendors and purchase items from it. The vendors are working with this and have small little items that they can buy, like loaves of bread, or they can save their money and buy one big item. This will be running through October, the second Saturday of each month in October.
So you could earn some money to buy tomatoes at the farmer's market.
Now, because we're using fresh basil, we will not put this on right now because we're going to bake it first. And then, but you want to make sure that you chop the basil. Oh, smell that.
So amazing. So that fresh herbs just elevate any dish, whether it's pizza or a gourmet meal.
It just coarsely. It doesn't, and then you'll just sprinkle it on wherever, okay? Before you do that, you'll sprinkle a little pepper, okay? Did we forget any of our ingredients, okay? Have we put on, we've got a pizza crust, ricotta cheese,
got that,
mozzarella cheese,
got that,
garlic powder,
got that,
olive oil, red onion, black pepper, and also after we put the fresh basil, we'll drizzle it with balsamic vinegar and put it back in for a little while, right?
No, I think we just leave it sit and
rest
for 5 minutes.
Rest 5 minutes.
Yep.
Woo, it takes a village.
It does. You all ready to see what the finished product of this looks like?
Yes, our magical oven, as Kacy calls it.
Yeah. It's our TV magic.
We've got it ready for you to serve at your 4th of July event, whether it's a picnic or just for two. We've got a nice salad in the middle that has leaf lettuce and blueberries and onions and tomatoes, and then your pizza. You want to try it? I think so.
Say bon appetit.
Oh. I'll say yum. She says bon appetit, I say yum. Don't forget to join us in August for our next recipe from our calendar.
Yep.
And we really enjoy testing these recipes and sharing them with you each month, first Friday of each month.
So we'll see you then.
Bye.
Check out the fair.
Oh, we're going to check out the fair too. Stay tuned.
Right.
Hang on.
Stay with us. We're going to check out what's going on at the Bourbon County Fair.